For decades, numerous African nations have been tethered to a monetary system established by their former colonial master, France. The CFA franc, created by France in 1945, has long been a symbol of economic control and neo-colonialism, binding these nations to policies that serve European interests at the expense of their own sovereignty. However, the winds of change are sweeping across the African continent as some courageous leaders are determined to break free from this financial bondage and chart a new course toward true economic independence. The CFA franc system, which stands for the Communauté Financière Africaine, African Financial Community, Franc, was born out of France's desire to maintain control over the economies and political systems of its African colonies. By integrating all its colonies under a single monetary system that it controlled, France ensured its dominance over the economic structures of these lands. This system allowed France to manipulate money supply, interest rates, and more across its African territories, effectively maintaining a tight financial grip over these nations, even after they gained political independence in the 1960s and 1970s. One of the most criticized aspects of the CFA franc system is the requirement that member countries deposit at least 50% of their foreign currency reserves into the French treasury. This policy exists solely to enable France to control the financial resources of its former colonies. Additionally, CFA countries lack independent monetary policy. They cannot set their own interest rates, issue their own currency, or devalue their currency to boost exports without French approval. This strips these nations of their economic sovereignty and traps them in a cycle of dependence. Moreover, the CFA franc is pegged to the euro, a strong currency used in Europe. This artificial linkage inflates prices for African exports on global markets, making CFA countries uncompetitive compared to cheaper producers like China. The overpriced exports prevent industrialization and force these nations to rely on selling raw materials abroad, further undermining their economic freedom and development. Despite these significant disadvantages, the CFA franc system has faced heavy criticism and resistance from many Africans over the years. Mali, one of the first African countries to gain independence from France, attempted to break free from the CFA system in 1962 by introducing its own currency, the Mali franc. However, France's response was harsh and uncompromising. The former colonial power fiercely opposed Mali's attempt to gain financial sovereignty, and within 2 decades, Mali was forced to rejoin the CFA system due to intense pressure and internal political divisions. For over 30 years after Mali's failed attempt, no other former French African colony dared to challenge the CFA system. However, a new alliance has recently emerged to revive the push for African monetary sovereignty. In September 2023, Mali, Niger, and Burkina Faso formed the Sahel Alliance, initially a defense pact to combat jihadist rebel groups in the region. However, the leaders of these nations soon revealed grander ambitions, evolving the alliance into a full-fledged political, economic, and monetary union to counter French neocolonial influence. The leaders of Mali, Niger, and Burkina Faso have made clear their intention to break away from all forms of neocolonial control by former Western powers like France. A core goal of the Sahel Alliance is to liberate their economies from the CFA franc currency system. These 3 nations have already dealt major blows to French influence in their lands, collectively withdrawing from the Economic Community of West African States, ECOWAS, regional bloc in late 2023, which was seen as overly dominated by France and its allies. Abandoning the CFA franc in favor of a new common currency is the next crucial step in this quest for full independence and sovereignty. In early 2024, the leaders of the Sahel Alliance forcefully declared their plans to scrap the CFA franc currency. Burkina Faso's President Ibrahim Traoré fired the first salvo in a February interview, stating, "Everything we've done has surprised you, hasn't it? More changes might still surprise you, and it's not just about currency. We will break all ties that keep us in slavery." Days later, General Abdourahmane Tiani of Niger echoed Traoré's defiant stance, declaring, "Currency is a sign of sovereignty. The alliance of Sahel states is recovering their full sovereignty. It's unacceptable for our states to be France's cash cows." Such fiery rhetoric reveals the intense determination of these leaders to sever monetary links with France. They view the CFA franc as a symbol of ongoing slavery, robbing their people of true independence decades after achieving political freedom. Yet, despite the significant risks involved in such a bold move, these leaders remain undeterred. They are entrenching a rift that could ultimately shatter The ECOWAS Union if other member states lose patience with their hardline boycotts. This open revolt has inspired ordinary Africans, who are fed up with France's oversized role in their affairs. Recent protests in ECOWAS states like Senegal and Ivory Coast saw angry mobs burning French flags, and businesses while demanding that their nations also quit the CFA franc currency. If Mali, Niger, and Burkina Faso successfully transition to their planned new currency, other French ex-colonies may very well follow, their trailblazing lead in asserting full monetary independence. France's economic influence would rapidly diminish across its former African empire, beyond just the Francophone sphere. The Sahel Trio's defiance emboldens a broader Pan-African pushback against lingering outside dominance, be it French, American, Chinese, or any other foreign power. Their stubborn prioritization of sovereignty resonates with a rising generation yearning for true self-determination and dignity. When Mali briefly launched its currency in 1962, before being ruthlessly quashed, it could never have imagined that over 60 years later, a revived bid to destroy the last financial chains, tying the African continent to its former European colonizers, would occur. The revolutionary alliance between Mali, Niger, and Burkina Faso embodies a profound renaissance of African self-determination that simply refuses to accept antiquated systems of outside economic control and exploitation any longer. By following through on ditching the CFA franc in favor of a new homegrown common Sahel currency, these plucky Sahel nations would etch their names in the history books as true vanguards of monetary liberation from neo-colonialism. Their audacious pursuit is an inspirational call for all Africans to finally cast off the shackles of the past and earn the full economic autonomy and sovereignty that is every people's birthright in the modern world. As you continue to read and engage with this important narrative, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to stay updated with more content about Africa's journey towards true independence and self-determination. While a rocky transition fraught with risks surely lies ahead, the Sahel Alliance appears unwavering in its conviction that severing all fiscal ties with France is a worthy sacrifice. Only then can their beloved homelands achieve true freedom, dignity, and self-respect as masters of their destiny at last. The journey towards economic independence is a challenging one, but the determination of these leaders and the support of their people provide a beacon of hope for a brighter, more self-reliant future for all African nations. In conclusion, the bold steps taken by Mali, Niger, and Burkina Faso to break free from the CFA franc system are not just about currency, but about reclaiming their sovereignty and self-determination. This movement signifies a broader resistance against neo-colonialism and foreign control, inspiring other African nations to pursue similar paths towards economic independence. As this story unfolds, let us support and amplify the voices of these courageous leaders and their people. Together we can witness the dawn of a new era of true independence and prosperity for Africa. Thank you for watching. If you believe in the cause of African sovereignty and want to stay informed about similar stories, make sure to subscribe to our channel, share this video with your friends, and join the conversation in the comments below. Your support is crucial in spreading awareness and fostering a global community that stands with Africa in its pursuit of true freedom and dignity.